In this video, we're going to be discussing concepts that arise when discussing points. These concepts include the midpoint, which is the middle point between the 2 points, the distance, which is the distance between the 2 points, and the slope, which you may call gradient, which is the steepness of the line between 2 points. So let's consider 2 points. These two, for example. Each point is going to have some x coordinate and some y coordinate, and even though I'm using the same letter for them, they are not the same value. That's why I've done them in different colors. So keep in mind that the blue x and the red x and the blue y and the red y are going to have different values. So here are some examples of 2 points. The green is the distance between the 2 points, and the orange x is the midpoint. As you can see, it lies, well, it's meant to lie roughly in the middle between the 2 points. So in this case, again, you have the green distance and you have the orange midpoint, and the same for this point. And you can see for the slope that, well, this line is going to have a slope of 0 since it's completely flat line, and this is going to have a steeper slope and again steeper. Okay, on to the next point, which is the midpoint between 2 curves. So again, we're using an example. We have 2 points. We've got a red point and a blue point, and green is the distance between the 2 points, and the orange cross is simply meant to be the middle of the 2 points. Now by red, I'm showing the y separation. You have a y coordinate here, you have a y coordinate there of the blue point, and the difference, the distance between that is shown by this red line, and the blue line shows the x separation. Now if you notice that the orange point, this x coordinate is in the middle of the x coordinates from the red and the blue, so it lies in the middle of either of these x coordinates, and the y coordinate of this midpoint also lies in the middle of the y coordinate of the red and the y coordinate of the blue. So to find the x coordinate, all we're going to do is take an average of the coordinates. We're going to find the mean of the x coordinates. So all we do to find that is we add the blue to the red, I mean the x coordinates of the blue to the red, and we divide that by 2, and that's the middle. And we do the same thing for the y. We take the y coordinate of the red and we add it to the y coordinate of the blue, and we divide that by 2, and that will give you the middle of the y coordinates. So to sum up what we've done, this is the average of the x coordinates. You added both the x coordinates and you divided by 2. That will give you the center. And here's our y coordinate. It's the sum of these 2 y's and divided by 2. So it will give you the middle here. And that's exactly our midpoint. Now moving on to the next concept of slope. Slope is often denoted by the letter m, and it's defined by the change in y over the change in x. This triangle here is the sign for delta, which means change in. You can also remember it as rise over run. Rise just shows you how much it's risen, which is the change in y, and how much you've run across, which is the change in x. And the way you find the change in y and the change in x is you just minus your starting point from where you finish. So if I define my red point to be where I finish at, I'm gonna take this y coordinate and minus away the y coordinate of the blue. So y minus blue y, and that will give you your change in y. And we divide that by your change in x. So we get the y x, and we minus the blue x, and that will give you your change in x. So you minus your y's and you divide that by your minuses in x, your change in x, and that will give you your gradient or your slope, whatever you prefer to call it. Now on to the final concept, which is the length of the line that connects 2 points, the distance between the 2 points. consider this part which I've highlighted. This is the important part, so not to overcomplicate it. You have a blue point, you have a red point, and green is just the distance between the 2 points. Normally we'd have orange here to just show the midpoint, but I haven't included it for this example. And again, the red here is simply the y separation, is how far the y coordinate of the red point and the y coordinate of the blue point are separated by, and the blue line here is showing the x separation. So yeah, and I've just given each side a letter just to represent them. We got A, B and C, where C is the distance between the 2 points. Keep in mind that this creates a right angle triangle, and C is going to be the hypotenuse, as it's the side that's opposing the right angle. So if I were to draw B and A out separately to show in a bit more detail, it would look like this. This is B. At the top we have the y coordinate of the red point, and at the bottom we have the y coordinate of the blue point. And similarly for A, at the end we have the x coordinate, which is the x coordinate of the red point, and at the beginning we have the x coordinate of the blue point. Okay, now if you remember from Pythagoras' theorem, you would know that the hypotenuse squared is equal to the other two sides squared and added. So c squared is going to be equal to a squared plus b squared. And since we want to find c, because c is the distance, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for this side c. We're looking for this length. That's the distance between the 2 points. We just take the square root of both sides, so the exponent disappears here, and we're left with the square root of a squared plus b squared. Now, to find a and b, all we do is we find the difference in the y coordinates. So that will give you the length. If we were to do red y minus blue y, we will just see how much length is here. So b is red y minus blue y, and similarly a is red x minus blue x. It's just the final point minus the finishing point. So to sub what we know here into this formula, we get this. We get a is red x minus blue x, and we square that. And then we add red y minus blue y, and we square that. To sum up, we get a difference in x, and we square that, and we add that to the difference in y squared. And then we square root all that to find c, which is your distance. And that is it for finding the distance between 2 points. And that's all for this video.